Hey guys and ladies, welcome to Zip Gaming Online. Today we're going to talk about the Tiberon, a 3 rounds burst rifle in Warframe. So on this one we're going to use the red one for heavy caliber build and the cyan one for the accuracy build. So according to the codex, Tiberon is a rifle forged by a master gunsmith, a 10-0 burst rifle that will strike down targets with swift precision. Let's start by saying that Tiberon starts with a single V polarity. Tiberon sports a total of 60 damage per round, focusing on 30 damage puncture, dividing the rest evenly with 15 on 15 on impact and slash. Tiberon sports a good 30 rounds in the magazine, allowing for 10 full bursts per magazine, and 540 rounds carried in your fanny pack, allowing of 180 of full 3-round bursts. Tiberon have 5% crit chance with 2 times critical damage multiplier, as well as 2.5% status chance, thus leaving Tiberon focusing on pure damage without any gimmick. It is important to note, for a hit scan burst rifle without any gimmick, it does deliver a devastating 3 accurate rounds on point and allowing the use of heavy caliber even on a maximum rank without losing much in terms of accuracy. So with that said, let's start with the comparison. Here's the accuracy comparison between no heavy caliber attached and a maxed heavy caliber equipped. We will forego the use of stabilizers, as you might notice how accurate Tiberon is, so let us start talking about the damage and the loadout itself, the real meat of the discussion. The Void loadout on Tiberon uses corrosive and heat combo. We decided against the use of cold that we used to advocate before, and instead replacing it with heat on this one. The idea is, due to the low status chance, we have to compensate with the less corrosive proc by having more damage bonus outright. We still recommend the use of corrosive for damage bonus against most armor based heavy enemies. So for our Void accuracy oriented loadout, we use Serration, Split Chamber, Malignant Force, High Voltage, Infected Clip, Hellfire, Stormbringer, and Thermite rounds. This loadout causes 874.6 damage per rounds, 2623.8 damage per bursts. On multi-shot, it causes a staggering 1749.2 damage per rounds and 5247.6 damage per bursts. On our damage-oriented heavy caliber loadout, we use Serration, Split Chamber, Heavy Caliber, Malignant Force, Stormbringer, Hellfire, Infected Clip, and Thermite rounds. This loadout creates 1264.2 damage per rounds, 3792.6 damage per bursts, and on multi-shot, it causes a devastating 2528.4 damage per rounds, and a horrific 7585.2 damage on bursts. So let's move on to the Corpus build. As always, we'll split it to the more common magnetic plus toxin combo and electricity plus viral combo. So let's start with the magnetic and toxin combo. This loadout focuses on magnetic to destroy enemy shield and Toxin to bypass shield and outright killing low health enemies. This loadout is much more preferable due to the inherent low status chance of Tiberon. The accuracy build for magnetic and Toxin combos supports Serration, Split Chamber, High Voltage, Cryo rounds, Stormbringer, Malignant Force, Infected Clip, and Rhyme rounds. The accuracy-oriented loadout causes 874.6 damage per rounds, 2623.8 damage per bursts. On multi-shot, it does 1749.2 damage per rounds and 5247.6 damage per bursts. On heavy caliber damage oriented build, we use Serration, Split Chamber, Heavy Caliber, Cryo rounds, Stormbringer, Malignant Force, Infected Clip, and High Voltage. It does 1264.2 damage per rounds, 3792.6 damage per bursts, and on multi-shot it does 2528.4 damage per rounds and 7585.2 damage on bursts. So let us move on to the Electricity and Viral combo. This focuses on overwhelming the enemy with pure damage, and the gimmick is for the Viral to proc for 50% max health reduction. This loadout is not recommended this time around due to the low status chance. On accuracy build, we'll use Serration, Split Chamber, Malignant Force, Cryo rounds, Stormbringer, High Voltage, Infected Clip, and Rhyme rounds. So with this, you can just switch the High Voltage and the Malignant Force to switch between Magnetic Toxin and Electricity Viral loadouts. It will do 874.6 damage per rounds, 2623.8 damage per bursts, and on multi-shot it does 1749.2 damage per rounds and 5247.6 damage per bursts. For heavy caliber damage build, we use Serration, Split Chamber, Heavy Caliber, Cryo rounds, Infected Clip, Malignant Force, Stormbringer, and High Voltage. It does 1264.2 damage per rounds, 3792.6 damage per bursts, and on multi-shot it does 2528.4 damage per rounds and 7585.2 damage on bursts. On the Grineer loadout, we use Viral and Radiation combo not only for the damage buff against the Grineer enemies, but also for the innate ability of Viral knocking 50% off max health, and the Radiation to confuse enemies and forces enemies to fight amongst themselves for 12 seconds. The accuracy build uses Serration, Split Chamber, High Voltage, Thermite rounds, Stormbringer, Hellfire, Infected Clip, and Cryo rounds. It will do 922.3 damage per rounds, 2766.9 damage per bursts, and on multi-shot it does 1844.6 damage per rounds and 5533.8 damage per bursts. And on the heavy caliber build, we use Serration, Split Chamber, Heavy Caliber, Hellfire, Stormbringer, Malignant Force, Infected Clip, and Rhyme rounds. This loadout will give you 1264.2 damage per rounds, 3792.6 damage per bursts, and on multi-shot it will deal 2528.4 damage per rounds, and thus a devastating 7585.2 damage per bursts. On infested enemies, we'll use the same exact loadout for Void, as the Corrosive and Heat combo is perfectly suited against the infested enemy as well, giving damage bonus against Ancient with Corrosive as well as Heat with the rest. And on that note, the accuracy loadout will cause 874.6 damage per rounds, 2623.8 damage per bursts, and on multi-shot it will deal 1749.2 damage per rounds and 5247.6 damage per bursts. And on the damage oriented heavy caliber loadout, it will deal 1264.2 damage per rounds, 3792.6 damage per bursts, and on multi-shot it will do 2528.4 damage per rounds and a massive 7585.2 damage on bursts. So now that we are able to see the full potential of what this rifle can really do, I need to find that master gunsmith and pretty much give him a massive thanks for a well-made, damage-dealing Master of Death rifle that are able to kill enemies without any gimmicks beside the pure and unadulterated damage. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care guys, bye bye!